Hello. It is a new day. It is Monday. What are we doing today? Well, I'm glad you asked. Me. Today is going to be more soap bubble stuff. And of all the things I put together, I just realized I forgot to grab my thing for doing soap. So, I need to get that. So let me set my headset down, and I'm going to grab the stuff I need for that, and I'll be right back. There we go. Okay. Have returned. This time with my soapy supplies. This is a little out of alignment. Let me fix that really quick. Hi, Comet. Yes, Comet. Hi, Comet. Yes. Hello. Ugh, well, that was stupid. Hi. There we go. You have 2 seconds of up here. Yeah. Okay, and now you get to go back to the floor. I know all you want us to look at this for some reason. Yes. Yeah, that's all you care about. Where's my things? What do I get to play with that's up there? That I'll be showing later if anybody comes in. It's not for you, dog breath. Okay. Well, anywho, back to what I was doing. What are we doing today? So, today I'm going to be doing more stuff, more work with soap bubbles. I left off on Thursday doing just that. Oh, hi, Goddess. I didn't see you there. Welcome in. Weirdly, the viewer count doesn't ever really update properly in the Streamlabs manager or the Stream Manager, so I just kind of wing it. You put a suggestion in the box? That's awesome. I will have to go check that here in a bit. Let's look at something we left off with on Thursday here in a second. Let me sip some coffee really quick. Oh, so good. Oh, and side note, I did say I did receive your gift. I have it here. Thank you so very much for it. It is a knitted bottle holder by our resident Yarnomancer, Goddess Whispers. I absolutely love it. The colors on this are absolutely fantastic. I don't know how well it shows off in the light here, but it's pretty, and it holds a bottle perfectly. Yes, thank you so much. It's so cute. I absolutely adore this. But in giving me this, you give me a very, very minor burden. I now have to go outside to be able to use it. So now it gives me a reason to have to leave the house. Thanks. But no, I'm very happy too. It's super cool, and it's really like well made too. It's like super sturdy. The base is fantastic on this. It's absolutely great. It wildly reminds me of something my grandmother made. No offense. Um, she used to knit, and one of the things she did before she passed, she made me a an Afghan a long time ago when I was a kid, and it's unfortunately one of the many things that was lost, in translation when moving, and all the kinds of issues occurred. But it reminds me of an Afghan. I don't know why. Just something about it just strikes me. Hers was mostly like blue and white and like a sky blue. That trio made a really beautiful Afghan. It was absolutely gorgeous. I love that blanket. But this is absolutely gorgeous. It is super well made. And it's nice to hold some of your craft as well. It's super cool to actually have known you for such a short amount of time and be able to actually have something tangible that's of yours. It's super cool. I can't wait to figure out what to get you. I've already got some ideas, but I don't want to spoil it until you get what I send. So I'll figure it out and I'll let you know when I've got something on the way for you. But I'm just at this side now to keep it safe. Interestingly enough, as soon as I took this out of the bag at the house here a little bit ago, I took it out in the car when we got it, and I left it in there to keep it safe. And I took it out here when I got it home because I wanted to put a bottle in it, just to kind of like test the sizing and everything of it. And our dog like wants it. I can't get it anywhere near him because he's going to be like a toy for me, and I just have to tell him that it's not his, and he'll leave it alone. He's really good at not touching stuff that's not his, but we're pretty good at taking items out of packages that we've ordered or brought, and it tends to be for him, like if we let him see it. So he's good at playing with the stuff that's his, but I don't want him to think for a minute that this is for him because he might get into it. Oh yes, what we did last week. Do you remember Thursday where I had done the soap bubble trick on that really huge, like 15 by 20 inch paper? And put the plastic on it and set it to the side to dry, and it was still really wet at the end of the day. It clearly dried. I have it here, and it looks amazing. Take a look at this. Let me make some room. That looks awesome from an angle. Let's look at it from top down. There we go. Get to see all my hair and freckles. Yeah, this came out super cool. Is that not wild? I'm reading everything you're saying. I'm just not reading it out loud. OBS often tells me I've been streaming for 15 minutes, an hour and a half in. Yeah, it doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. It does give the warm fuzzies. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be perfectly frank, my grandmother was not the most sweetest person in the world, but she wasn't the nastiest, so I accept it, as she was. But she had some thoughtful bones in her body, so I accept what she did. But this, you said, wow, so is the shiny the soap bubble residue? I don't know that there's really a whole lot of shiny. I think it's just, like, I don't even know if there's any real reflection of the soap residue. I think it's just the spots left behind from the bubbles. Let me zoom in on this really quick. Yep, of course it goes there. Can I go this way? Nope, wrong way. That one? Yeah. So it's not going to zoom too well because it'll start getting really pixelated, but I can zoom in a little more and you can kind of see the bubbles that it did. It's stunning. I don't know how well it translates over in camera, in video, but in person, it's got such a gorgeous texture. Let's see. Let me hit it at an angle. It doesn't. Oh yes, there is. I didn't really notice it because I hadn't really looked at it when dry under the light when it hits it. But what shimmers is where the plastic was touching. See all the flat areas? You see how they kind of shimmer? Like right there in the middle? Right there? All the areas where the plastic wrap was touching the surface, it flattened the bubbles and then dried there. So, like, At first, I didn't truly understand what purpose does the plastic wrap have. Desert might be able to help shed some light on that. Um, I've just seen people do it and it does texture. I'm guessing that's all it does is what we see here. Otherwise, it would just be pure bubbles all over and it would have no difference, right? But this made it look, when it dried, it to me looks like lava. It has the neatest look on it. It looks like if you're looking at like top down into a volcano, assuming it actually like looked like this. At least in like animation, I would say that would be pretty darn close to it because it looks like all the bubbles and things that you might see, and some of the dark spots where it started to cool. And then there's like little like lava bergs, which is what I would call all the areas you see here that aren't bubbles that the plastic wrap touched on. Like it made its own little like congealed rock. You know what I mean? Might be the ocean near me soon. Yeah, for real, right? Ugh, God forbid. But yeah, I think I really like how it came out. So what did I do? Well, let me zoom back out first. I said zoom back out. There we go. Do as I command, the camera. So since I like how this looks, but I still wanted to do stuff on top of this, I still want to do like the nebula idea, but I'm afraid it's going to ruin it forever. But even like you said, Desert had told you, you just kind of have to commit to everything and just basically like how it comes out is how it's going to come out. You know, can't be afraid to mess something up, right? So I kind of did halfway, right? Since it was dry and I started scanning in everything to make backups, I scanned this. So I've got a complete scan of it. It's not the most crystal clear scan because this is so large. Let me turn this music down. I still hear it. Okay, that should be fine now. Because it's such a large pad of paper, I couldn't scan it in one pass. I had to do 4 quadrants and then stitch it together in Photoshop. So because of that, the lid of the scanner wouldn't really press down flat on top of this. And because I had to go across the room to hit the scan button from where the scanner is, there's no time for me to like go back to go like gently press down on the scanner lid to make sure it's flat. I'd have to like put a book on it. I didn't think about it till now, actually. But because of that, the scan is very slightly out of focus in like some of the components in the center. Because I think it was lifted away from the glass ever so slightly when I did the scan. Not a lot, but it doesn't take much. Paper's supposed to be flat on a scanner to be crystal clear and in focus. But it's okay. It was a just in case scan, just to get a copy of this down digitally before I potentially ruin it. I don't think I will ruin it, but I do want to add to it. But what I don't want to do is take too much away from what's in the middle here, because I really like how this came out, right? So, the plan. I have it over here, but we'll go back through and we'll double check our colors that we're going to experiment with. I'm probably going to bring back all of these colors to get another layer, as well as an indigo and some sort of dark blue, phthalo blue, something like that, so that I can do not over the entire surface of this, but in maybe a few sections, do a couple little sections of soap with some of the same colors to have like an overlapping effect of the same color spectrum, the same palette. That's the word I'm looking for. And then bring it outward a bit and do another layer outward of similar colors and try to get as close as I can to the edge. I'm not expecting getting edge to edge on this, but I'm going to try to get some soap as close as I can, realistically, to the edges, and put the blues out that far, and maybe a couple spots in the middle to start the indigoing, the space part of this. And then we'll let that dry. I'm curious, though, for my own sake, am I going to want to do plastic wrap again for the outer edges? I have already done some plastic wrap for this phase of it, but that also made it very difficult to dry. I'm thinking if I do this second layer over the top and just I'm talking like 20% of this. I don't want to hit much of this with any water at all if I can help it, just maybe along the edges and like 1 or 2 like spirals inward to add a second layer. But the outer part, I think I may go bubbles only because the very outer part, once it's dry and I paint onto it, I'm just going to do like my typical like indigo cloudy surrounding thing. I might do across here and maybe across here to get like an edge to edge of the bubbles. Because I'm really bad about doing indigo surrounding everything. Uh, I need to be able to get some color all the way to the edge of the paper without covering it up sometimes. So maybe I'll try to do that today. And then hit the rest of it with indigo. I'll figure it out as I go. Like most things, I'm going to wing it. So that's one thing we're going to do. I'm just trying to think through the process right now to figure out what I'm going to do with it to make sure I don't mess it up too much. I say, if anything, let's get the ink out that I'm going to use. I will get the paint out because I'll probably use that later. Here is the yellow, red. Here is the indigo. Here is the blue, phthalo blue. I was right. I've got some other colors I did not use, and the brown. I do have some additional reds I did not use that I don't think I will, because I think we've got enough pretty colors going here with the yellow, the reds, and the brown. So that's over on this side. The new stuff I'm going to add today is here, the blues. And then I think all that's left is soap. For soap today, I've got just a regular drinking glass with Dawn dish soap and some water. It's already a little bit soapy and bubbly just from pouring the water into it. I've got my straw. I have a spoon, but the spoon didn't work too well last time because it was too small and it was not really wanting to let go of the spoon. So nothing was coming off onto the paper. So I'm borrowing one of our spatulas. That's like a spoonula, I guess you can call it. It's like a spoon spatula. It's got like this little like angled shape on it so that you can set it down flat on like the counter, and it'll leave the spoon part above it without needing to have like a spoon rest or to rest it on the side of a bowl or something. I sound like I'm selling the product. But the idea is it's got a larger surface area and is a little bit more scoopy, so I might have a better chance of scooping some of the soap out and slapping it on the paper with this than I did the small spoon. At least that's the hope. And the beautiful thing about it is it's just soap and water. That's what we use to wash these, so it's still going to be usable. I'm just not going to get ink on it. The goal is to only let this touch the soap and the water, get the soapy bubbles on the paper. It goes over to the side to be safe and out of the way so I don't integrate pigment into our cooking implement. I only have one of these particular ones. I don't want to ruin it, so I'm just borrowing it for moving soap bubbles. That's it. Aside from that, I've got my soap bubbles, I've got my straw, I've got spoons to be able to transfer soap bubbles to this. I've got my ink. I will shake them and crack them open, have them ready to go here in just a minute. I don't have any paper towels out yet, so that I should probably do. Let me also, since I'm not directly using water just yet, I think I'm going to move some of my water canisters back to make some room. I'll be using them later, but not just yet. Okay. And I've got my masking fluid out for later. That's for a secret. That's coming up. Well, it's not really a secret. It's in the title, but yeah, something special is coming. Let me scoot that back. Did this not line up like it should? That's there. That doesn't look right. Align. No? Is that me? No. That's too much. Oh, that's too much the other way. I must have bumped into my camera, my mount up here. Oh yeah, there we go. It was slightly oh, wow, that was unexpected. Sorry. Man, you ever have one of those moments where you turn your head for a brief moment and your throat tickles spontaneously, and then you cough? That's what just happened to me. Let me have some coffee really quick. Okay, woof. Anyway. Alright. At the risk of repeating myself a billion times like I always do, because it's just how my brain works, we're putting another layer of soap bubbles on here. We're doing another set of the yellow, the red, and the brown colors. And then we're going to add more soap bubbles to the outer edges, and we're going to put in some of the phthalo blue closer to these colors. And then in streamers and in the outer edges, we're going to put some of the indigo ink as well, indigo watercolor. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up a table, a TV tray that I have to the right of me here. I'll move it over to it to let it dry. I might grab a couple pieces of plastic wrap just to put gently resting on it, but not as flat down as I did before, and let it sit while we do phase 2 of today. And then partway through, I will peel that off, make sure I don't mess with the soap bubbles, and we may hit it with the heat gun to dry it quickly so we can see how it looks. And if not, we'll save it for the next time to show it because it dries forever. So, okay, stop yammering, start doing. Okay, let me grab my paper towels and grab some of these because I learned from last time I used a lot of this to clean up methods. So I'll have this at the ready. Okay. And let's fold this up and get it over here. All right. Okay. Am I ready? Almost. Let's clean up or shake up our inks, I mean. Okay. It is open. Okay. It's been squeezed and has some ink loaded ready to go. Let's make sure this is closed. Yep. And let's shake up our red. This is an acrylic ink. It is flame red. Let's shake this boy up. Crack it open a little. There we go. Same thing. Fill up the dropper. All right, it's ready to go. Hold it by the bottle. The yellow, by the way, is a cadmium yellow hue. It is a aquafine watercolor ink. The red is flame red. It is an acrylic ink by a company called Daler Rowney. We're going to go with it. This one is back to the aquafine watercolor inks. This one is called Burnt Umber. It's a brown. Let me fill the stopper. Open it up a little bit. I said stopper. It's an eyedropper type thing. Next up, we don't need it immediately yet, but I'll get it shaken and ready. This one's aquafine watercolor ink. This one's the phthalo blue color. Really pretty. Almost royal blue color. Oh, I hadn't opened this one in a while, so it's a little tight. There we go. All right, put that one over here. Next up to the party is the only indigo ink that I have. It's not actually indigo ink, it's a watercolor ink. But this one's from a company called Ecoline. Ecoline. And nowhere on it says indigo, but it did on the plastic that was surrounding it before I opened it. And since that was gone, it doesn't say indigo anywhere. It just says the number 533 on the front. That must be their code for indigo or something close to it. Right, that is shaken. It is open. Dropper is full. It is to the side. I doubt I will need it, but if I do, I have also to the side this quinacridone magenta, which I almost feel like I might have wanted to use. I don't know that I did, though, so I'll keep it to the side. And a cadmium red hue. Both of these are aquafine. Okay. All right, everything's ready. I just need soap. All right, here we go, buddy. Good luck. All right, so my vision is retain some of the yellows, the red, and the browns in a diagonal. So bottom left through top right, and not really add a lot of indigo on the outer edge of the paper on those two sides to try to keep like a swath of the color going across the page. But along the left and right and the opposite corners, those can lean more toward the space colors and a little bit on the tops. But I want to try to keep a path of color going edge to edge on at least two sides of it, just to break my norm, right? Okay, let's get crack-a-lackin'. Alright, so first up, soap. Like last time, this is scary as hell. I don't know why. Making a mess. Making a soapy mess. Alright, let's use this before all the bubbles are gone. You go there. You are a soapy mess. That's where half the paper towels are going to go. You can tell now. Alright, let's use this before it's gone. So, yellow. We're adding a little bit of yellow here, 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 there, there, just a little bit everywhere in every spot. Alright. And next up, let's do some of the red. And brown. Let's hit it with some of the blue. Hit tiny bit of indigo just to get it started. Try to get some more soap going. Get some blues in this last section that I added, and then pull this to the side to dry. And indigo. Okay. Let's close this all up, get some plastic wrap in a couple spots, move this to the side, and then start some cleanup. Can I finish over there? Looks like it. Yeah, Dan, you can exit. Because I mean, I'm not
If I didn't do the work.
maybe it didn't work.
Let the deer go like, oh, I don't know.
In that one time before, I had to go into the settings, the actual search settings, and data management, and find the game and uninstall it. I'll have to figure out why that didn't work later. Did it show up at all? Is that the only one that did that? With the blank?
My phone was bleeding.
Which one? Oh, it's probably doing that same the other ones where it's not wanting to install the full game, it's just installing the patches or something.
Like this one here.
Did you try the three houses one? Yeah. Move this bad boy to the side. Well, I think later we can try to fix the other one. The other ones. Alright. Pause that. Resolve everything I need for the next bit. I think so. Yep. Okay. Grab my headphones. He got us said half of me wants to pull out the paints, but the other half wants to just veg out, and veg out is winning. Girl, let it happen. Just relax, chill, don't worry about anything. It's just chill out, have a good time. Okay. Well, while that is doing its thing and over there drying and leaking a little bit on the table, I moved it too because it was still very wet near the edges. But that's okay. I can wipe it all up later. Um, let's look at what we're doing next. So, uh, my other half was very kind. We had talked about this in the past of him going through and using his incredibly steady hand to draw or sketch some things out for me. And he was very gracious to whip out ChatGPT to ask it to make some images in black and white, just black outlines for things. So he could put it on my light box over here and trace them for me on watercolor paper. So I want to show some of the things that he did, and we can choose which one we're going to mess with today. Probably one of the, well, you'll see it. The last one he did, I'll show first. It's a bunch of crystals, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like crystals in the ground with some trees and everything, and we can just fill in our own little landscape behind it. Doesn't have to be today, but it's something we can certainly do. And I'll eventually trim off the little hanging little Chad things on the side there. So those are pretty cool. He wasn't super happy with how these came out, but I thought they were cute and just random, so I'm keeping it. Next up, though, is in the title of the stream. Here, there be dragons. These were also from ChatGPT. Some of it ends up being called out when you notice where there's flaws in it. Not from anything that my other half did. All of his sketch work is freaking gorgeous. He just sketched all of this through the Lightbox and just spent some time on the weekend just doing it, and it came out great. But there's some weird bits that didn't, quite work, because ChatGPT likes to hallucinate. One of the things you can see here that he called to my attention is where the belly of the Chinese dragon is showing here, and then it turns into its back, and the belly flips to the other side, but there's no obvious like twisting to show its body turning around sideways. So it just kind of did what it wanted here, but that's okay. It's random. It's the magic of ChatGPT. And this one is almost perfect. You could say this is a one-winged dragon, because it's missing one on the other side. I think we're just going to go with the what's the word I'm looking for? Story. That's not really the word I'm looking for. Mythology. There we go. That it got its wing ripped off or something in battle. So it's a one-winged dragon. He can't fly, but he looks good, right? So he's pretty darn cool looking. I really like how he looks. Looks vicious as hell. So options. We can do the Chinese dragon, or we can do the traditional mythical dragon, or we can go to the little crystals that we got over there as well. But I'm thinking one of these two. And what's unique about these? Gave a great lesson on how to add another limb. Did she? I'm kind of terrified of the idea of freehanding adding anything. I'm more willing to let it just be as it is because it's part of the story. But yes, adding something to it, to fix it, would be interesting. Maybe having it folded down and you just see the tip of it or something. Trace the wing, then place that traced wing where it would be, then trace that onto the dragon. Oh, I get you. Yeah, I could. But then the piece of me really likes how it looks. I might. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not. Or if anything in the future, if we do it again, we'll tweak it by the time we get to this point. But I kind of like him how he is. We'll see. But anywho, the body. The body's what we're going to work on more than anything today. We may not complete these guys, but we can get started on them. We'll see. Because we're going to use the same soap bubble technique for the scales. Because that just looks it's going to look pretty damn cool, I think. So not the whole dragon. I think on this guy, most of the bits of like the back of his neck, the back of his body, maybe parts of his wings and his like arms and belly area here is good, but not like the neck. That'll be something else. We'll make that like a smooth gradient of like a tan or something. We'll see. But the idea being that the most prominent scaly outer upper portion of the dragon will be the texture of our soap bubble combination concoction. Same idea for this Chinese dragon. The back, where it's smooth here, instead of being scales being traced in, it ends up being the texture of kind of like what we did with the other painting over there, where we've got that pretty lava bubbly looking texture, but it's going to be its scale structure instead. So that seems pretty interesting. And if we decide after the fact that we do want scales, we can hand draw those in on top of the completed painting to make that scale look. But we'll at least get the color on first. So I think as much I love how both of them look. They're both really cool looking. I think even though I love our one-winged dragon, I think this guy might be easier to paint, perhaps. Because I think where the shadows are going to end up laying and where we're going to have to mask off to be able to do the bubble texture will be easier to do on this. And I don't quite know where to go for doing the texture on this guy. It's going to be something special to do him. So I might do him later. Even though he's cool looking, we don't have to get rid of him. We just have to figure out what's going to be easy for what we're doing today. I think the Chinese dragon is going to be easier. And I say easier because I need to mask him off. I still haven't quite 100% figured out how. So let's put this guy to the side for now. He's beautiful. We will paint him, but just maybe not today. But he'll be here. The masking, we have two options, technically three. We have masking fluid, so I can paint masking fluid over the areas we don't want to get paint on yet, and then wipe it away later. We can use masking tape, which will cover a bulk of the space, but it won't really do like the fine areas that we don't want to get messed up. Or we can do a combination of those, which is probably what I'll end up doing. And the alternative was just be careful, which is not happening because I have to throw bubbles onto this to make it work. And you saw from the last ones, I have no finesse when it comes to making bubbles get put from the cup into paper. It just doesn't work. So I think what I might do is identify what we're going to cover. So clearly this solid white area, probably the upper arm area, the rest of this back, this new belly area, the upper back section curling as well, and just like the upper portions of the legs, because we can add additional color that smooths out later. That's not part of the bubble texture. So I think those are the easiest areas to mask out and get that texture on there first and let that dry, and then we can go back on this later or another day if we run out of time and start painting all of the intricate details of everything else. So I think to mask this off, I'm going to go masking tape first and try to mask just a huge area. And then any of the cracks that are still visible, paint those in with the masking fluid to fill the gaps and let that dry. And then I can paint. Once everything is totally dry, I can peel back the masking tape and then rub off any of the masking fluid that remains, and what remains will be just the part that we wanted painted, I hope. And then we can go from there. So let's get cracking on that, or I'll be here all night. Let me start ripping out some masking tape because it's going to be a long job. So let's get started. Okay, that's too large. Mhm. Right? The lore of the one-winged dragon will be very fun to figure out in the future. This is going to be too narrow, so I'm going to have to play with figuring this out. Okay, so we've got this area, and we need to peel this down the middle as best we can. And, I'm again not going for perfection. I'm just trying to cover up as much as I can because I'm going to fill the gaps with some masking fluid. I just want to, I don't want to use every single drop of masking fluid I have on one project. Oh, I forgot I've got this piece up here I had left over from the other day. I can use that. Let go of my finger! Let go! Now it's on the other one. There we go. Will you on attach? Stuff is way more fiddly when you have to peel tiny pieces of it instead of doing whole entire like rectangles of it, right? Woof. Okay. Let's bend our way around some corners. Cover up some of the larger spaces to protect them from the soap. Right here. turn this around and right there. Try to cover up some of the bits up here. Right there. Do, do, do. Well, areas are going to be the worst parts. Where our masking fluid is going to come in the best. Again, I'm not trying to be too ridiculously precious with it. I just want to cover up the most of it I can. A little bit of the head. Yep. Grab some coffee. We'll do up to here because I want to have some of it going down the top of his hand, but I don't want it to be over all the claw area. I want it to kind of disappear, the texture disappear going down to the claws, but I want it to kind of touch some of the claws to be kind of half on, half off. Is going to be too thick. Okay. Curve somewhere. There. No. downstairs. Just we can. We hit. All right, so we need to cover part of the back, but I think what I'm going to do here is leave some room, as they might say, for our artistic expression, which is fancy speak for faking it. And I'm going to transition right here, and I'm going to allow some of the body to get covered up as it arcs over and becomes the back, like the belly becomes the back right here. And I'm going to let all of this maintain some of that color. And then the belly I'll leave alone, and I'll turn it back into the same color as whatever I do for the rest of the belly. Go there. I think we are starting, yep, just right there to encroach on the other side. Go. Cover up that little spot right there. And cover back part of that claw area. Here. I realize I'm not talking a lot. I'm just kind of getting methodical and just getting focused on doing this. Using a lot of masking tape for this job, but I've used plenty of masking tape, and nobody was hurt in the process, so I think we'll be okay. Just smacked myself right in the chest. Little skinny guy, or right there. Got forgotten about our friend over here. Because of where this is, it's so small. I'm gonna have to just cover that section right there with masking fluid when I'm hitting all these edges everywhere and up here. So I'm gonna have a large section with masking fluid right there, but it'll be fine. Up here, go a little bit right here. Oh, do down here. Same deal. I think I'm not gonna do the talons with this texture, so I'm gonna cover that up and let it go down to just like the upper part of the legs and knees area. The masking fluid inside some of these spots. Hey, Desert. Possible alternative that I've tried, nothing works perfectly without some struggle, is scanning and printing the drawing to another cheaper paper, cut out the section of creature you want to color to fall into plug a little more, and then tape that up to the edge of your creature. Cut a little more than where you want the paint to flow through, large enough to tape. I don't know if I'm visualizing what you're saying. Yes, I know that sounds confusing. Yeah, I have oops, not the crescent one, but this guy is the other dragon we were looking at that's only got one wing. I was kind of gonna just keep the lore of one wing on this guy because ChatGPT just hallucinated and was like, he only needs one wing, which I'm probably gonna keep. But if I were to try to replicate it, I might even go wacky and just maybe we print the same drawing in mirror image and then put it back underneath it and trace it and just try to do this same shape in reverse, maybe slightly smaller because it's behind it. Like if we really cared to be like perfect and precious about it, but I'm happy with him being different. He's a ChatGPT dragon. He's going to be all right. So when we get to him, he's going to be hallucinating right along with ChatGPT. This guy though, this is this is going to be a pain. I can already tell. I mean, doing this part, like masking, is obnoxious. Like there is no other word for it. It's obnoxious. I know why it's important. I know why it's useful. I'm going to appreciate the hell out of it once it comes time to actually paint on this because it'll just be easy, like slap it down, let it dry, be done kind of thing, and then peel all this off when it's dry. Come on, help me out here. Yeah, all right, that'll work. Oh, not you. But masking is a lot of work. And it's for such an amazing payoff, too. Every time you mask and you pull back the masking, it's amazing. Why am I having so much trouble with this? Let my people go. There we go. Um, just doing it is such a pain in the ass. That and my eyes start like twirling if I'm sitting here staring at something like this too close for too long, my vision starts kind of defocusing a little bit. So it is what it is. We peel back the corner on this guy a little bit. See how that looks. Nope. I successfully made a point instead of a corner or like a curve. As difficult to explain. Sorry about that. No. Oh, to avoid using a lot of masking? Wait a minute. What I've tried is to scan print that drawing on another cheap paper cutout. No, I get it. I don't know why I wasn't understanding for which one. I was thinking for this guy, because he came in later, I think, masking this in is one scenario. This one is another one altogether. This one is he's a one-winged dragon that ChatGPT made, and it didn't make the other wing in the back. And Goddess and I were talking about that earlier, trying to figure out like what to do to fix it. And then she was like, like I think Desert's done that before. I love the one-winged dragon. He's amazing. He lost that wing in an epic battle, and now he's a ground dragon. He's a land dragon, but he's still fierce. This masking it, I finally grasped what you said. Literally doing the exact same thing. Cut out everything from that painting that you are planning to paint in this, and use it as a mask, and literally just tape it down directly on top of this, and maybe like glue it down gently or something like that, or whatever's necessary to make sure it's completely covering to the edge, and maybe seal it with masking fluid or something to like seal the edge of where it is. And it masks almost everything out so you can paint over it. I get that. That makes sense. Um, but I'm just being difficult here because, it's Bear. He's difficult. That's what I do. Oh man, this isn't gonna get all of this like I want at all. And now I have a bunch of little bits of tape that I have to figure out what to do with. I'll try to put this on here and make it work. Okay. It's close enough. Oh, I'm sorry, it got warm. I have no idea what the temperature is. 64 or something? I think it's just starting to. The heat is trapping in. Did I cover this up and not mean to? Did I cover that? Yeah, a little bit. I kind of did cover that a little tiny bit. Oh, exactly the part I didn't want to mask is the part that's on there still. What are you doing? It needs to go in the trash. Get out of my tape. There we go. It was covering up a spot I didn't want it to touch. Man, I'm getting little pieces of tape all over me. Like tape confetti. It's like it's ugh. It's like glitter. It just sticks to everything. Like when you get the little tiny tape tears, they just stick to you. Okay. Let's get some smaller bits. I'm gonna have to fully use masking fluid in these tiny little areas, but I'll try to limit what I can. Right. Starting to get into the weeds now. If I just keep going, I'm gonna be lost here. I think I'm gonna just fill some of these remaining gaps with masking fluid. big enough to go in there. No, not without doing some significant rearranging. Not perfect. Doesn't have to be. Get that in there. I think that's about as close as I can get without using masking fluid for the rest. All right, let me block out the rest of the wider area around this so I don't get any paint in there, so I can have the largest possible splash zone without taping the entire paper up. I'm already taping way more than I expected I was going to. I don't know why, because I should have expected to tape a lot. But that's okay. Okay. It's methodical in its own way, relaxing, applying and masking tape. It is and it isn't. It is because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. And if I don't pay attention, I make mistakes. And if I do pay attention, I don't talk. So it ends up being a, you know, split like between what I need to do and what, I'm doing. Did I leave any actual obvious white spots out in the open? Right there is one little one. And then I think I'll do another long section right here. Of course, I left a little bitty hole right there. I've seen artists do similar things with plastic, but that was because they wanted dozens of copies, so creating a clear masking sheet was worth their time. Yeah, I can get that, especially if you're like trying to do either a repetitive pattern on one painting or do like the same pattern on multiples. Like either they're, I'm guessing, doing multiple versions for different people, or they're doing like copies of the same shape with different colors and whatnot to do like a bunch of pieces that go together as one like conglomerate. I kind of get that. So I get it. Making like a more permanent pattern. Oh yeah, I was gonna do up here as well. Eh. Okay. I've got this. I'm letting this make me tired. Like I'm already like end of day tired. So it is a definite struggle to figure out, on Mondays and Thursdays I get off work, I have to decide like how tired am I from work? Like what I do is not exactly exhausting per se, but the act of being present is. I don't know if I'm describing that well, but um, some days like I was told when I took my particular current role that it was a feast or famine kind of job. So meaning sometimes my job is going to be absolutely nothing back to back to back, and it's going to feel like why am I getting paid? And I'm going to be getting nervous about maintaining my job and keeping my job because I feel like I'm doing nothing. But my job is one where sometimes I feast, where there's a whole lot of work to do, like last year and most of this year, um, deploying and then supporting a project until it is stable, and we're just in like station keeping and finding minor bug fixes to take care of. Um, but outside of that, I'm getting paid to support the system that I cover for when there's emergencies. So if I'm not here, nobody else knows how to fix certain things. And it's not for a lack of training. There's just not enough people to train everyone on how this works. On what I do works, how it works. Man, my words are just not working, but you get my idea. Um, so yeah, it's I don't know. Sometimes there's the apprehension is worse than the work. That's probably where I'm trying to go with that. Okay, when I said I wasn't going to tape the whole thing, I shouldn't be. and I just kept going because I was still talking. So I'm going to stop. Let's whip out the masking fluid. Desert, maybe you can tell me. I've never really known because I don't think it says on here. Should you or should you not shake masking fluid when it's been sitting? I'm going to read the packet and see if it says shake well. And the reason I think you don't is because this is basically liquid rubber. And if it sits and is exposed to air for too long, it starts hardening. So I found the last time I used it, no gentle move around. Yeah. Because if you don't use it for a while and you've shaken it or moved around a lot, it seals like a latex glove on the top and you have to like pull the plug out. Yeah, like right here. See it's stringy. Yeah, because it formed like a little solid bit of latex, and now it's in like a disgusting little blob on the bottom of the lid. So yeah, I just try to keep it level as much as possible to keep it liquid. Because I saw a video the other day of someone online who opened up their masking fluid, and that it was congealed to shit. They must have left it open or something, and they were like prodding and poking past the plug of the rubber to get down to the stuff on the inside that they were using. And I'm like, uh, uh, like my need to keep things neat was just going like, I'm not OCD or anything. I don't think. If I am, I'm like a low grade, but enough to bug me, but not enough to be like, I have to stop what I'm doing to fix it. It's just like, ugh. Um, we like to take care of our things in this house. Seeing someone that didn't take care of their things bugs me. You know, um, but yeah, it was a nightmare. It was like 80% clogged, and they were like digging around to find a little bit of liquid on the bottom. And I'm like, just give up and buy a new one. Please. Please, just buy a new one. Anywho, next question. How do you tend to apply your masking fluid? I have a set of some of the first brushes I got that were in a kit. Here we go. This one and this one. Yes. I like to use these two guys from a cheaper set. They're like some chisel type brushes. Square, chisel, I don't know if they're actually named. No, it's not. It's got a number, but it doesn't have like I'm a this brush, like a round brush. It's like R78A and R78S. Okay, that tells me nothing. It's like a flat chisel and like an angled chisel. Anyway, I have been using these and I've got some black brushes that are also cheaper over there that are like very, very tiny. If I need to do like a little tiny set of dots. But this is like I don't care about them. If they eventually get damaged, I try not to really worry about it too much. But I try to, once it dries, or when I'm done with it, I dunk it in water to make it like kind of harden and solidify. And then I just use like my fingernails and I just like scrape away any of the residual rubber that's in it. And I only ever use these guys for the masking fluid, which I don't even use a whole lot anyway. Yeah, brushes you do not care about. Perfect. My art teacher used the back of a brush too, but no fine points with that. Oh, I get it. Yes, because you can get dots with this and you can move it around a lot. Oh, I get that. That's kind of smart. Especially if what you're doing needs something that's that kind of shape and you can just kind of zhuzh it into place using the back of the brush. That seems really smart. I like that. I saw some like nibs that people get, like they're like brushes, but they're not actually brush tips. They're like rubber or silicone tips that they use for applying this, but that seems overkill to me. Unless I'm using masking fluid every day, I don't need a purpose built tool for it. So I think this will be fine. Especially, probably, this angled one. The angled chisel guy seems like a good idea for this because I'll be able to get in at an angle and really hit those corners better. So I think that's what I'm going to use. My throat's starting to get kind of scratchy. Let me grab some coffee really quick. One sec. Desert said, right? I didn't purchase any of the synthetic tip things. Yeah, it just seems it's exactly that. It seems overkill unless you're a person who needs to utilize it, right? So let me grab here it is. My ruler. Of course it's like the alcohol is sitting on top of it. Not the good kind. Okay. Oh, I'm not going to do that trick using that. Well, I can maybe flatten it on it and not rub it. I usually use this metal ruler when I want to like tamp down the edge of paint of tape to really make it stick. But I can't do that here because the tape is going all kinds of directions, and since this is metal, it's just going to rip it off. But I can probably just flatten it on it and like just press it to try to help really flatten some of these areas down because it's already starting to want to curl up a little tiny bit. So I need to get this masking fluid on here pretty quick to help hold down some of these edges. But for the most part, this is holding everything down fairly well. My biggest fear is going to be this bottom area, so I'll get there in a minute. In fact, oh, excuse me, I'm going to start upside down. I'm going to take care of these because these are going to be the biggest flat, like puddle areas that I'm not wanting to paint. Um, so they can be drying while I'm making my way downtown. Making my way downtown. All right, yeah, right here. Okay, so more coffee. And then we're hitting the road. Okay, I'm not hitting the road. We're hitting work. Okay. Uh, okay, let's get in here. Ugh. Okay. This is going to be so nitpicky. I'm going to have to just stare at it while I'm doing it. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm not looking for perfection. I never do. I mean, I want it to be good, but I'm also not sitting here. I'm not trying to paint one beautiful piece like I've had 15 years of experience, and when I come on stream, all I do is like 10% of something that I'm working on for like, a multi-hundred or $1,000 commission. I'm not doing that. I want to kind of speed paint in a way. Like, not really speed paint. I don't want to make garbage, but I don't want to spend time overdoing it for a stream because I need to. You know how when you're starting a project, you brainstorm and then you start going into like rapid prototyping and rapid iteration, and that's how you find what the end result is going to be, right? So let me block this blah blah blah. Ban blah blah blah. Best viewers blah blah blah. You're getting those miles on your brush, your hand. Yeah, exactly. Right. So my goal is to not. I'm like it's partially to get experience, but it's like trying to do a little bit of everything lets me kind of get an idea for what I'm going to want to do the most. I'm like I already know I like doing nebulas because I love space, right? But I can't always be nebula guy, and I can, but I'd have to get really good at being nebula guy eventually to be able to like, oh yeah, I'm you're Bear, you're the guy that does nebulas. Oh, I love those. And when you do Star Trek stuff, that's even cooler. Like, if I've got like one or two things that I end up doing all the time, that's gravy, right? That's kind of what my goal is in the long run. But it would be nice to know more things. Like, I want to be able to like if I ever need to like in a competition go toe to toe with other people painting flowers or something, like I'd like to be able to at least know enough to be able to paint flowers. Like I've done that a bit because I started learning by watching and painting along with Jen Rainey, like I'd mentioned before, and she almost exclusively does botanicals. But as much as I like looking at flowers, I don't fully understand the anatomy of the flowers, the petals, the direction, the orientation, 3D objects, dimensions, like all those things kind of like I don't grasp in my head really well yet. So, like, yeah, I'm overselling it, but ultimately my the point of my speech is like I have to find my niche, right? I have to find the thing that interests me. And I'm not going to do that doing the same one thing forever and ever and ever, trying to get great at the one thing right away, right? I want to be able to rapid prototype and try a bunch of little things because I'll find the stuff that I love, that I'm good at, that I enjoy, that draws attention, like whatever the ultimate goal ends up being. And I can start working on those once I find the things that I love, and then focus on spending both more time on that and then revisiting the stuff that like I was enjoying doing, even if they're not like what I'm going to do the most. You know, if I ever get known for a thing, I'm still going to do other things. You know, I'm not going to just lock myself in. I'm not going to typecast myself in a role, right? You know, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to do everything everybody else does just because everybody else does it. Why would I do that? Everyone else is already doing those things. So some of it's also, do I want to try to find something different that only I like or only I am good at to start? And, you know, until somebody finds out that people like what I do and then they try to do it themselves, and someone else who's much more practiced or much more networked or much more ruthless about going online and finding leads will steal the idea, which happens. I'm not too concerned about it because I'm an internet nobody. I'm just me. I'm happy with what I do. I'm just trying to do this for me more than anything because, you know, it's an outlet. It lets me vent, it lets me learn, it lets me make a product that I'm satisfied with at the end of the day, that I'm happy to put on the wall. Like, I'm not trying to hang my work in art galleries. I'm doing this for fun. You know, if somebody ends up not liking it someday, that's on them. I don't mind. You're allowed your opinion, just like I'm allowed my opinion of your foul ass attitude. But we're gonna go beyond that and be bigger than that. If there's those people out there in the world, they are. I haven't found them yet for me for what I do because thankfully I am fresh and just starting out this. I am not concerned with what anybody thinks now. I'm not going to be too incredibly concerned with what people think later. I mean, when I say that, I mean the negatives. The positive people I'm always going to love and appreciate. I don't mean to be whispering in your ear, but I'm getting close to the masking fluid container, and I don't want to tip it over or, you know, do what I just did and drop a bunch of it on the paper. Let me turn that into something useful. You can go here and then here. Okay, and you can go here. This edge, you can go there. And hopefully I don't cover it up too much. When I get down to the very bottom of the tail here, if I cover some of it accidentally because I'm too close, it'll be fine because in the end, the tail is not going to be able to see a whole lot of the bubble texture, so I'll just be able to make it one big smooth, one big happy family, right? Um, and Desert said, I love all of that reasoning. Thank you. Yes, it's just the way I think. And then Gata said, I kind of feel like in this day and age, is there any idea that hasn't been done before anyway? Everyone is inspired by something they've seen. That's true. I mean, sometimes it's about repetition because you see something someone did and you love it so much, you want to do it. Sometimes you see something someone did and you love it so much, but they butchered it in your eyes and you want to do it in a way that makes you satisfied with the outcome. So you tweak it in some way and you make it your own. Hopefully not at the same time ripping off the person. You're doing your own thing because they inspired you to use it in some way that you hadn't thought about before, right? Like I had no idea mineral paper existed, and then I found Kendra Brazel, and she does all of her mineral paper work with the watercolor inks and acrylic inks and all of that. And she makes amazing things. So I just took it and I'm like, I love that material. I love abstract because at my current skill level, abstract has a way of letting my brain unlock and not really need to focus on the result so much. And I can still get something beautiful most of the time at the end of it. I end up not caring so much about the technique, like the perfection of it, but I still end up needing it because I realize, you know, just because someone has this technique and it looks good doesn't mean that I'm understanding like color theory like I should, because I need color theory to learn not to do silly mistakes that make me end up uh, regretting the final color because I ended up muddying a brown color because I just mixed a bunch of things together that I shouldn't have. That's happened a lot. But that's fine because, you know, I'm making mistakes is how we learn. Not even with painting everything, right? Not even with any art, just in life and work and all of that. Like we learn by making mistakes. It's just like, telling a kid, don't touch that burner, it's going to burn you. And they do it anyway. And they burn themselves. And they look at you like, why didn't you warn me? And you're like, listen, mother effer, I did. But the reality is they had to make the mistake to learn the lesson, right? Well, same thing goes for a lot of stuff in the work life. Like even in IT, I see it a lot. People that come in, they think they know everything. I'm like, okay, I will tell you what I will need to tell you about what needs to happen that I'm aware of. Just be aware, blankety blank thing happens, and I've seen it before, so just be aware that it might occur. They don't pay attention. They think they know everything. They make the mistake that I knew they were inevitably going to make because they didn't listen, they didn't read documentation, they just ran, right? And they made the mistake. They look like a fool, and that's fine. You're expected to do that. You're human. Sometimes you don't trust what people tell you and you're going to make your own mistake, and that's fine. I accept that. But what you do afterward is so freaking important and tells what kind of person you are, right? The idea is if you make a mistake, own it. That's all you have to do. Own your mistakes. Whoops, had a little drippage right there. If you make a mistake, own it. If you try to cover your mistake up, it looks bad for you. It looks bad for the person that trained you. It looks bad for the company. We try to chase down the problem and figure out what it is, and all the time you could have just said, hey, my bad, it's my mistake. I did fill in the blankety blank thing. I'm sorry. And instead you hit it. And all you had to do was just own it and ask for help and say, I'm sorry, that is all on me. I made the mistake. How do we fix it? I'm here. Put me to work. I need to learn to fix my own mistakes so I don't do this in the future and so that I bring us back online or whatever the case may be. So many people are so full of themselves and so perfect and so blankety blank that you just want to wring their stupid little necks. Sometimes you just gotta let them make their mistakes. Let them make the mistake. Because sometimes those kind of people need to make a mistake and need to cover it up because that proves who they are. Right? I mean, if they're gonna be that way on the job, they're gonna be that way any other job. Like, if they just sweep it under the rug and you're like, well, okay, don't do that next time, it doesn't matter. They've already chosen that that's what the path is that they're going to take. And unless you can catch it early and tell them, look, I don't mind you making mistakes on occasion, that's fine. But you've got to own your mistakes because if you hide them, you are proving yourself to be untrustworthy. So make your mistake, recognize your mistake and what you did to lead towards it, and then work with me to help fix the mistake, and we'll be fine. And then the next time you have to do fill in the blank thing, I don't think you're going to make that same mistake again because you don't want to go through that same work effort to undo the damage that you did. Ask me how I know all of this. Some of it is from me making mistakes and owning up to it. Some of it is from seeing other people do it and either own up to it or not own up to it. Usually people are really good and they own up to their mistakes right away. Do the, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to make that mistake. That is entirely on me. What do we do? How do I help fix this? And then they learn. If I just make a document saying this is how you do fill in the blank things, don't make these mistakes because they are huge problems and are mistakes. And if they happen, you will be responsible for them and will be helping fix them. And yet they still make the mistake. And then they still try to hide it, even though I told them they don't have to. It just proves who they are. Some people just have to be perfect, and if they're not perfect, they have to hide it. Make it look like it's not them making the mistake. Somebody else did it. Oh, it was like that when I got here. Oh, how weird. I was offline. Really? Because it shows here that you were logged in when the system crashed. It's just... And those people forget that there's a paper trail for almost everything. There's an audit trail for almost everything. So they just assume nobody's going to know. It's like, there's 3 people here, and one of them is me. I know I didn't do it. And the other person's like, knows not to touch the system without coming to me, and they've been here forever. And they've never made this kind of mistake. So it leaves you. Just come clean, and let's go fix it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm way over speaking on something that has nothing to do with anything that I was doing. I'm sure I had a train of thought that led me here, but this is who I am. Let's see what I've missed. Oh my. Wow, I have to scroll up. I missed a lot. Let's see. Desert said dies, and it's prevalent in the child and adult worlds. Hopefully, the difference is that in adults, they do as you shared, own that mistake. Children have an excuse. Yes, because it's their first time seeing it, right? They're learning what it means to take ownership, what it means to tell the truth, what it means to do the work to recover from the failure. Like, that's when they get to learn that when they're young. When someone's older and they've, not done it, and they've never learned that lesson, and then they get shown and they failed and they still don't learn that lesson, and instead they run away and hide, they will quit the job and go work somewhere else because they've already been called out as being a liar in the job that they're in. So they're like, well, I can never recover from this. I'm going to leave and try somewhere else. It's the person. And then God said, okay, devil's advocate here. Well, it depends on the situation. In all your scenarios, yes. In public speaking, no, not always. When public speaking, if you forgot a piece of your speech, the audience doesn't know, and usually unless you put it out there, so just leave it and keep going. But in this situation, there's no bad outcome. As a public speaker on the topic, you are the authority, and if you just point out every bloop that you make, you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. That's true. That's true. It depends. Mistakes are part of life, right? And sometimes if it's like public speaking, I imagine a majority of it is if it's minor stuff that's not affecting the outcome of what you're talking about, totally fine. It's cool. If it's a misspoken word or a misspoken phrase, or you forgot a name and you didn't catch it during the speech, again, all of that's fine. If you're outright lying about something, or you make a mistake in a technical aspect, is where I'm going with it. If you lied or you made a mistake with an intent to harm, usually it's not that. I'm kind of oversaying it. Making a mistake in exposition, I don't think is fair. I don't think that really relates fully to what I was speaking about. You're right. I think those people can have get out of jail free cards on the regular. In Toastmasters speaking competitions, if you call attention to your mistake, you'll get points against. Oh, I'm sure. Like if you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke there," or "Oh, I forgot to go over this. I meant to say that a couple paragraphs ago." Like if you're calling out a mistake in your outline of what you're going to say, I imagine that's bad. You need to make it sound like you meant to say what you said. Like truly like speaking, debate club or any of those things in school where you were like having to stand up in front of people and talk, which I hated doing, by the way. Um, I get that. It's graded. It's something that makes sense that you wouldn't really want to mess that up. So I kind of get that. And what I have on here is drying up. Let me try to get the rest on here before I forget about it. Ooh, I really went way too high on that. Let me blab some of that right there. Yeah, I think I was just thinking about particular scenarios, you know, that affect like my work or just in like typical, I don't know. Honestly, I blanked on what I was talking about and what led me to any of that, so I couldn't begin to tell you. I kind of was going all over the place. Did I get that middle section? I did. I think I got everything. I think it's just letting it all dry now and then painting. That's covered. That's covered. That's covered. That is covered. Yeah. That's covered. All of that is right there, I think. Oh, I didn't do that section right there. I'm glad I looked at that. Right. Not if you're telling people to drink bleach to fight COVID. Ugh. Ugh. You know, nothing bugs me more than rage bait, which is what they call it. I actually kind of recently figured that out or found that out. Rage bait being just what it sounds like. Um, you have an inflammatory topic that is its sole purpose is to make the reader or viewer angry. It's the whole purpose. Just to piss you off and like scream at your screen. No, that's not how you do that. What are you, stupid? Because it makes people interact with it. All they care about is interactions for money, and that makes me want to vomit. It's swindling people. I mean, instead of swindling people's money directly, advertisers are giving them the money, but you're swindling people's common sense away from them and just making them angry for no reason. Like we already go through enough in the world. Why are we having other people make us angry based on their bullshit? There's just no call for it. It's so annoying. Like the TikTok food like recipe trends that are garbage, and we could just talk about it forever. But I don't want to talk about it forever because it makes me sick. Like every news headline now? Yes, exactly. Every news headline, everything the politician says, all the thing. Well, I don't want to go into it because I might alienate the two people that I know here, but let's just say that there's people in politics right now that are so bad for our country that we're just not going to even talk about it. Um, I hate politics with a passion. I mean, really, like some people are passionate about fighting for it. I'm passionate about trying to get it out of my life because I hate it. Politics hurt people on every side. Every side. There's not a single politician in the world that will ever be 100% right, 100% moral, 100% good. They may spin that they are and they're not. They may spin that they're not and they are. There's never a perfection. Oh, see, look at that. Like once it dries, it just peels right off the brush. It might stick to the bristles a little bit, but once it dries, it just comes right off. Like I could technically use these to paint with, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get any residue mixed into my paint. But like it comes off pretty easily and pretty quickly. All right. Yep, aside from a couple little spots, that's all come off the brush. I'll let it finish drying and I'll pluck the rest of it off of it. But I think we're good. Let me throw this away. Seal up this. The sad thing is, I used to enjoy politics at one point, but it's gotten so bad that went away. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know. It's just, what does it resolve? At the end of the day, it's just people caring about the things they care about and wanting to push their ideals. Doing the right thing for all of us only comes to the mind of a few people. Like, and the rest of it is about money. Making money for you, making money for the people like you, and then just squeezing all of that money out from everybody else. And in the process, let's just hate everybody. That's the right people to hate to make sure we've got enough people on our side. We have a militia ready to go that's angry for no good reason at all. And everybody else is just like, we're too peace loving to fight back, so go ahead and fuck it up. We'll just pick up the pieces later. And that's the wrong attitude as well. It's just, politics make me want to vomit. That's all there is to it. It's the worst thing in the world. And there's a reason people don't like politics or politicians or the rich or taxes. We could go on forever, but I'm not going to because I said I wasn't going to talk about it. And what do? Talk about it. Okay, let's do a once over look at this and make sure that I actually hit everywhere with the rubber cement or the I guess it basically is rubber cement, but it's a masking fluid. I'm going to pull my glasses up so I can actually focus on this. Okay, up there is good. Up around there is also good. All around here looks good. I got that area there. Perfect. I got that area up to the tape. I did not touch this area on purpose. Great. That's good. Between the legs right there is done. Behind the legs over here is done. And around all the edges are done. Everything else is taped off. I think we're good to paint. So I'm going to let it sit and dry for just a brief moment. Let's figure what colors we're going to do. So we're going to do the same thing, I think. So that I don't get soap on my brushes, I'm going to stick with the watercolor inks, but I have to choose colors, right? Let's see, Gata said, that was the most accurate assessment ever. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, no matter what, there's always going to be people in power over other people. And they're always going to want to do what's best for them. And some are going to want to do best for others, but they're going to be drowned out by the loudest voices in the room, which are usually the screaming, I only care about myself. I only care about my guns. I only care about my hate and my religion, which is counteractive to the hate, except when it relates to them. Like the hate, they act like it doesn't exist, but they scream hate and they spew hate all the time. All I can say is we are going to be laughing our asses off if we get to an afterlife, if there is one, find out that every single one of the power Christians that are full of hate and the wrong ideals are the ones burning. And all the people, whether Christian or not, who are genuinely good souls are the ones that get to move on to some kind of happy afterlife. I don't know that any of those things exist. I've never really spoken about my religion here. I don't really have one. But, you know, some people don't like that. So I try not to talk about any inflammatory topics when I can help it. It's just a good policy. Colors. Look at what we got. I already had half of them out, so let's just take the rest. All right. Well, I haven't gotten any new ones. I have the same watercolor inks I've always had, so black. Black is an option. There's not a lot of surface area here, so we're going to want to keep this to like maybe no more than 3 colors. 2 to 3 colors. So we have to choose what those are going to be. And I've already done the lava colors over there, which I could do again. There's no harm in that. I can totally do like the yellow, the red, the brown. But I'm not going to, I don't think. I might. I have to think about what colors work. I'm leaning toward this pretty, this is cerulean blue, cerulean hue blue. It's like a sky blue color, so that's one possibility. I also love this phthalo blue, so I'm looking at 2 blue possibilities. I guess what kind of dragon do we want it to be? So Chinese dragons, I'm not sure if they have any actual like colors that we were used to. Usually, if they spit fire, they're a red dragon. Like, what was his name? Oh, Mushu is going through my head, but that's not right. The one from Mulan, right? The little dragon that follows Homegirl around. I'm bad with names. I think isn't he a little fire dragon or a little steamer or something? I don't remember. Anyway, they can be red. Red dragons. It's the most common color for like a Chinese dragon, I think. But we can make it what we want. So we've got that as an option. We have an ultramarine blue dark, which is also another pretty blue option. We have our green. We have black. We have a magenta color as well. So magenta goes pretty well with blue. They're pretty close to each other. So magenta and blue might mix really pretty. We have our silver. I mean, those 3 might be nice. Silver, magenta, and one of the 2 blues, either the ultramarine blue dark or the phthalo. These are both closed, so we can look at the bottom of them. Interestingly, the ultramarine dark is a richer blue than the phthalo. So I might go with that one because it's a nice bright color. And then put maybe dots of the sky blue in there to have some different colors mixed into it. So we've got our cerulean hue for like a sky blue color, and our ultramarine blue dark, which is our richest looking blue. And then the silver metallic and the magenta. So those, I think, is the direction I'm going to go with this. So let's put up all the others for now. I'm not going to put them up. I'm just going to move them to the side over here. I think I'll stay away from red. I think I'll just stick with the magenta for this one. And I'll stay away from the green. Oh, in typical fashion, let's get these all shaken up. Was it Mushu? Did I actually get the name right? No freaking way. Because whenever I see him, I think of Mushu Gaipan. Wow, what are the odds that I get that right? I mean, I love Disney, but at the same time, I think I've only seen Mulan through like one time and in pieces, so I've never truly gotten to see that one end to end before. Listen to the music plenty. Somehow I'll make a man out of you. All right, I shouldn't sing. All right, let's crack this one open. Squeeze the dropper, get it filled up. Okay. Magenta is shaken. Squeeze that, fill the dropper, crack it open. Okay. Put that to the side. Get our ultramarine blue dark. Shaken, not stirred. Okay, crack that one open. Oh, fill up the dropper. Right, set that one down. And lastly, our cadmium hue, which is basically a sky blue color. Shake it. Who was that? That played him. Was it Eddie Murphy? Is that right? Famous Donkey? That's right. I think so. Yes. One day we should have a Disney sing along. That'll be fun. That idea would be fun, but the reality would be like, oh my god, he's singing, stop! Boo! Get him off the stage! Alright, so we're gonna make some bubbles, get them on here. I think actually I'm gonna do something different. I think. Well, I need to have smaller bubbles because they need to be like scales, right? And the only way I get smaller bubbles is if I actually just pour water into this from the sink and make bubbles. If I use the straw, they end up with those really big bubbles like you saw earlier. Let me see. No, it's not too bad. I could probably stick with what I've got here. Yeah, let's just make it happen. I'm going to do a couple passes of bubbles because I got to get the surface wet so the bubbles will even stick. Hi, Comet. Yeah, you coming over to look at what I'm doing? One day I'm going to set up a Comet cam so you can see him. He has played so many great cartoon characters. Wait, never mind. Just Donkey and Mushu. Was it really just those two? Wow. Yeah, I had no idea that it was just those. But he did so many like live action ones. Kind of known for his in person comedy. To be fair, I don't even know that he's done anything like recently. Just Shrek, and I don't know if there's anything else. To be fair, probably happily retired. These finer bubbles in here somewhere. I accidentally pulled out one of my headphones. You put that back in there, and then we're gonna start putting some ink down. We're almost at the point where I can start putting down some ink. Want to get some of these down on some of those last areas. That's about as good as I'm going to hope for. Let's get to work before I mess up the whole surface. Um, let's start with magenta. Just going to do a couple of drops. I'm going to do like a polka dot kind of spread. Oh, he was in Haunted Mansion, wasn't he? That's right. Right. Let's hit another color. Seal that shut. Now let's put some of our blue in here. Someone's fire alarm's going off. Must have burned some food somewhere. Let's get our light blue, our sky blue color. Alright, and last up, let's hit some for our silver and then get this covered in plastic. Silver might not show up so much, but we'll see how it comes out. It's basically like deflated to like nothing but fine bubbles at this point because it got really wet. So we're gonna be experimenting with this one. I don't know how this one's gonna come out since we left with very little surface area to soak up the water. So now it's gonna be interesting to see how it comes out. Right. Let me lock up some of the extra liquid right here. Or like a pool of it. Right. Because now the question becomes, how do I protect this? Well, I think the plastic wrap probably will help stop some of the bubbles from popping. So let me go grab some, put some over it. 1 second. Some plastic at the ready. Wrap it right on top. Right, and I will actually be right back. Excuse me just 1 moment. Gotta say, I think I might have raised my mic a little too high. 1 second. This other one, our little nebula, is starting to look kind of nice over here. Let me see if I can make some room. Clear some space and clean up a little bit. You've got that song in your Phase playlist for Moonrider VR. I like Beat Saber. Oh, it's a darn good song. The Somehow I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan? It is a great song. I mean, most of the Disney music is really amazing. There's very little Disney music I don't like. You got no, wait, no, that's not Disney. That's Pixar. Well, Disney Pixar are together, so I guess that counts. Toy Story. We'll go with it. All right. I think that's everything. I was trying to just think you've got a friend in me, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not Disney. And I'm like, I guess it kind of is the same company now, right? All right. Boy, I grab my headphones. Uh, that's the wrong side. This is the right side. There we go. And have some coffee. Drink it if you got it. Cheers. I'm almost out, but I got plenty for the rest of the stream. All right. So where are we at now? Well, we're in drying time. Let's let me put up my inks. I'm certainly not going to be adding any more ink to anything tonight. I think it's just going to be drying and then stopping, and then we'll figure out the next phase for later because it's already getting kind of late. But let me clean up all of my inks and put them in my container and close it up to make some room. And then I'm going to bring that our huge original bubble nebula painting back. Because it's looking kind of interesting. It's got some kind of sharp edges from the plastic, so clearly the final phase I either won't use bubbles or I won't use plastic, either way, to help kind of smooth it out and make it look more natural. But to start with, having some little sharp edges in there is kind of neat because it adds some texture that I wouldn't normally get, so I'm fine with it. It's funny, now I want to go get more. I kind of want to go get more of these watercolor inks, but naturally they're pretty expensive. I mentioned it a long time ago, but I've got most of them on a steal of a deal. A good majority of them were on clearance. So like this one it's probably not going to focus on it, but this one was $8.99, and I got for $5. All of them were in a clearance bin, so I ended up getting all of them on some kind of discount from what they were, and I spent, I mean, a decent amount. I forget how much, but it's probably like $50 plus or minus on all of them. But way cheaper than would have been full price. I'm not going to get that lucky in the future, so I both want to be sparing with these, but I also don't want to be precious because I enjoy using them for the mineral papers, the mineral paper paintings. But eventually, I'm going to have to replace them, and they're naturally pretty expensive if I can even find them. I think I found these because, like the Michaels I went to, was getting rid of them. So if they're not going to sell them anymore, I'm going to have to go find other places to find these. I'm almost definitely going to have to go online. So cross my fingers. All right. Let's scoot this soap container over. And let's look at this. Yep. Some of it definitely came off the edge, but the colors in this thing are amazing. I'm gonna have to clean up my table in a minute, but I'll probably have to clean this table off as well. I think. Let me look at this. Yeah. It's not dried, but it's soaked in enough that I can peel this back. Let's take a look at it. Oops, I'm sitting here smacking my ring light. Wow. That, my friends, are some colors. It's definitely still drying, but it's got some colors. It's got some shapes in here. When it hit the edge of the block, it started to buckle, so it's pulled away from the glue a little bit, but that's okay. We'll worry about that later. But man, look at those colors. It's everywhere. Let me zoom in. I almost feel like it darkened the page or darkened the screen when I zoomed in. Let me zoom back out. No? Well, regardless, it looks freaking amazing. If anything, I'll lift it up. But man, some of the colors on this look absolutely stunning. And there's still some bubbles on top right there as well. Let me break out. Wow, I love the color right there. Yo, that looks amazing. Okay, officially second layer, excellent. Like what I'm going to add to this is going to be minor. Wow, I don't even know where to look. There's so many things going on. Let me hook up my heat gun. 1 second. Oh, I put it over here. Well, hi, Comet. Every time I turn around, I see a Comet staring up at me. And then sometimes he's playing. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. We could probably play something here for this. Yeah. Step my plug in my heat gun. Oh, one day I am gonna get. Ow! Oh, that hurt my shoulder. Why did I do that? What a dummy. Ah, okay. That'll feel better later. Anyway, one day I will get some power outlets that will bolt to the surface of my desk in a way that don't just come off when you plug and unplug into it. Something that holds itself in really well, and then I can start plugging it up on top. For now, though, I have to plug into my power strip on the floor, and my left shoulder, holy hell, how long has it been? 6 months? More? A while. A long while. I messed up my shoulder. I'm trying to remember what I did I think sleeping on it. Um, I used to sleep with my left arm, like my shoulder lifted up and my head on my shoulder. And I think just over the years of doing that and just age and whatever else I've done to myself, I tore my rotator cuff. Because like when you do those self tests for rotator cuff injury to see like, and you turn your hand, like stick your arm straight out in front of you and turn downward and like make a thumb pointed down or something like that, like it'll hurt if it is, and it was. So that's what I did to myself. And everything I look up online for it says unless it is fully torn and you're in constant pain, you it will heal naturally and you won't need surgery. But it'll take forever to heal, and it's taking forever to heal. And every now and then I overextend and I don't pay attention, and it just flares up a little bit. Or if I like try to reach out to grab and stop a fall or something like that because I trip or something stupid like that, and it's just like a reflex action, it just like someone jabbed me in my shoulder blade. It's just the stupidest thing ever. Well, I need to stop doing stuff like I just did. I need to stop reaching like the floor and all that with the extension cord. I'm over explaining, but just so you know, I've done my shoulder in. Let me go ahead and dry this. Okay. Well, amazingly, it was mostly dry already, but wow, let me tell you, this is beautiful. Um, I don't think there's much more to do to it. There's a little, clearly, but I think, I think I'm only going to do one more pass on it. And I think I almost want to do it now. Let me fix my earbuds because I moved the heat gun underneath the. Well, hang on. There we go. I had mixed up the cords when I plugged this in. I think I'm gonna get the final part of this started right now because I can knock it out pretty quick. I think at least the beginning of it. Um, where? Oh, where? Here we are. I think that's all I want to do. I feel like I need something else in this corner because I'm not quite hitting the edge. I got scope on me. Let's pull our yellow back out. Don't overdo it. Okay. Listen to my own advice. Okay. Know when to stop. So I don't want to add any more plastic to that, but I want the bubbles to form and dry, and if I try to dry it quickly, I don't think that'll work. Let's see. Uh, yeah. Can't rush this. It needs to dry. It needs to dry naturally, so I'm gonna let it sit. I'm not gonna mess with it. I am gonna let nature take its course. I'm not gonna cover it with the plastic. I'm gonna just let it think. And let it dry. So yes, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna let it do its thing. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna let it dry. Once it's mostly dry and the bubbles have all popped, I'll hit it with the dryer just to finish it off and get it completely done. I will show it on Thursday. The other painting is back behind me drying. It's going to be a while as well, so I'm going to let it sit and do its thing, and we'll take a look at it on Monday, and we'll peel everything and take a look at what the texture of that dragon looks like, and we'll continue working on that guy. And we'll figure out what else we'll do then. Maybe we'll finish that one off somehow, or we'll just spend the whole day working on that dragon. We'll see. But I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and stop here and let this finish and not be touched by me anymore because I'm going to overdo it. I like how this came out. And I like how it's going to finish coming out with this final bit when it dries as well. I guess my only fear at this point is once it is done, once it is dry, like all of these things, taking care of it, I'm concerned. It's already bad enough worrying about living in a warm climate where it's going to be humid. Well, not warm, but moist. In a moist climate. Watercolor is already kind of dangerous, I think, to have around wet weather, obviously, and when it's humid, because I'm afraid it might run or eventually start like doing something funky or like coming off on the inside of glass if it's framed, things like that. I've seen that you can get waxes that you can cover all of this up to help seal it and protect it. I might do that sometime, but I would have to practice on something I don't care about because I have no idea, like, does it change the color or does it just put a transparent like layer over it to protect it? So far you like the wax, but it dulls the finish. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I figured it would do. If there was a spray that did the same thing, maybe you can put like a lacquer on it. I've never thought about that, but maybe you can. I'll have to look it up. something that can protect it from additional fluid getting on it and ruining the surface of it, right? So it's something to think about. Clearly, it's something you put on things you really care about. So things like this, I might just to help it protect the color. But regardless, I am already in love with what's already here, and it's only going to dry and get better with the bits that I just added to it. And I'm going to leave it alone and not touch it any further because I know how I am. I tend to overdo things, so I'm going to just let it dry. So okay, I'm going to stop. Thank you, Desert. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you guys both so much for being here with me. Oh, I got to show it earlier when Goddess was on, but Desert, this is the water bottle holder. I'm going to hold up very carefully because it's over this painting. But this is the water bottle holder. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. That Goddess made for me for my birthday. Absolutely adore the colors on this and the strap. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you again so much, Goddess, for making this for me, or at least making it and sending it to me. I absolutely love it. Thank you. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop here. I realized there is something I should do. Hang on. Let me scoot over here. Whoa. Careful now. Let me switch to that view and let that dry. I am going to do the shout outs really quick to you guys because I always forget to do it. Got it. Is it going to work? It did. There's Desert right there. Anyone that might come in later or might be lurking, please go check out Goddess Whisperers and Desert Dragon Lovers. They are both amazing crafters in their own ways. Goddess is amazing with yarn. I call her the Yarnomancer. Desert is an amazing watercolorist. Please go check them both out. Love them both so much. I popped into the streams one time and said hi, and we've been hanging out with each other in each other's streams as often as we're able. So I absolutely appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me see if I can raid somebody. I don't do that often, so I'd like to find someone to raid, so we can be people who raid people. Because I can't find people without raiding. So let me find and see if there's anybody online right now who is watercoloring. What's a whoa water coloring? Yeah. Hey, look, I'm on. Oh no. I don't think there's anybody else online right now. Specifically, who's watercoloring. Well, that's where we'll leave it then. So in the future, we'll raid, and I try to find people who are crafting or watercoloring. I'm sure at some point they'll spend better time with it. Right now, I have so very many things around me. I'm afraid I'm going to knock something over, so I don't want to spend too much time fiddling at the keyboard. So I guess that's it then, guys. Thank you so much. I will be back on Thursday. And we're going to continue with our dragon, and we'll take a look at this guy and see how it came out finally. Do I have a frame big enough for this? I think so. I think that's what these are, isn't it? These are... Yes. Good. So when it's done, I've got a frame big enough for this. So I have it sitting here to the side, ready to go for when I need them. All right. I'm going to stop yapping. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. I will... Oh, you found somebody. The Magical Blue Goblin? Let's do it. If they're online, let's hit them up. Raid channel, search. I've already lost it. Let me see. It was... Oh, let me come over to my chat over here and then I can read it. The Magical Blue Goblin at the Magical Blue Magical Blue. It's not finding them. Finding them. No channels found. The magical blue goblin. Wait, weren't they in your chat the other day? Didn't they say they changed their name? Did they change their name to that or from that? No, I don't know. Got it. Oh, that's fine. We'll raid next time. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll end that for now. Again, guys, have a beautiful night. That's the new one? Okay. Well, we can get it next time. That's all right. All right. See you guys later. Bye. 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 Bye.